Hi from Snooker Tips. A lot of you have been struggling with it. Basically what you're doing when you're holding your cue, you're holding your cue too far back, so your arm is fully extended all the way back all the time. It should be in the rest position before it starts. It's very important you find where that address position is. If you can't find where the address position is, so your elbow hangs down at 90 degrees, so it should literally drop down level. Then you can move it forwards or backwards by a certain amount until you find comfortable on the shot. If you're holding it all the way back here, your arm is flexible. It doesn't move in that way, so it pushes the cue up and down as your arm moves in and out. So the cue basically seesaws on your bridge. If you're doing that, you won't strike the centre of the cue ball. And if you do strike the centre of the cue ball, by the time you've gone through the cue ball, you actually either end up coming off the top of the ball or going down through it, which is more often than not what you're doing. So it needs to be stopped. And the simple way of doing that is to actually mark the cue, where your cue bisects the V when you pull it back. So when your arm's in the address position, sort of like, say, 1.5 inches up from the butt, if that's your normal address position there, if that's where it needs to hang, then there's no point marking the cue. There's no point coming all the way down a foot, all the way down to there, simply because you've got too much cue hanging out. So you have to either adjust where you're holding the cue, so you have no more than 12 inches out when you've gone through the ball. You need to sort of limit this in some way. And the easiest way to do this is get a friend to watch you do it. Actually get a friend to watch you as you swing the cue backwards and forwards. Because if those feathers and the cue is moving up and down like a seesaw, like this, then that's no good for your cueing technique whatsoever. You need to go through the centre of the ball and keep your cue centred as it goes through. If it doesn't do that, if it goes up or down as you're doing that, then you're not going to go through the ball correctly, and you'll end up putting unwanted side on the ball. Hope that helps you now. Bye-bye from Snooker Tips.